Hi, everybody. Welcome to Hey Boo. Crystal, and we got Jennifer. How y'all doing? How was y'all Halloween? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can.
How was y'all's Halloween? It
It
was
was
good,
good. It was good.
really. How
It
was
was
y'all
good.
week? Yeah, y'all had a good week.
A busy week, but it
A
was good.
busy. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it
Right.
was good.
Long week.
Long. Yeah. Yeah. I know how that is. Yep. So tonight we're gonna talk about um bad dreams. So what caused? I want to know what causes bad dreams because I've been having them a lot lately. This past week, I mean, about monsters coming after me. You think I'm watching too many monster movies?
You could be. They could just be like getting into your subconscious. I don't know.
I
Dreams are
just,
dreams are interesting, aren't they? I think we work through things in our dreams. I think we work through whatever is going on subconsciously. I think we can also have message dreams. And I think we can also like we all have this like really deep inner knowing of things, and I think that that can come through in dreams as well. I haven't had any really bad dreams for a long
Howard. Hi, Howard.
I've
And
had
you
some
have
bad
had
dreams lately, and believe it or not, even though I'm in the paranormal, I don't like horror movies, so I don't really watch anything like that. I don't really care for sci-fi movies very much, but my dreams lately have like included like mutant creatures trying to kill me and some people that I'm with. One of the creatures, it was really vivid. It's like it had a hand for a body, and then it had arms also up here on each side, and the head was almost egg shape with like, I don't know, I guess animal teeth, cat teeth, dog teeth, it was really really crazy. And I've had that not exact same dream, but that kind of dream for like the last week, I guess, about every other night.
really, and it comes after you in the
Oh
dream.
yeah. And it's not just one, but that one in particular, that one always seems to show up, but there's other ones also, but they're more blurry, so I can't really make them out. But when they do get a hold of someone, they completely like rip them apart. I mean, it's quite vivid. It's crazy. It's really crazy. And I don't have a nicotine patch on. I don't take any, medications that would cause, nightmares, cuz sometimes that can cause it. But yeah, it's just been really crazy for about the last week.
me
Hmm.
too. I don't take nothing that causes these crazy dreams. It's like I see these monsters attacking, and then I see it coming after me, and then that's when I wake up because I see him attacking, and that monster's gonna come after me and attack me the same way it attacked the other people. And then like I wake up and I'm scared. And I mean it's like the second
Hmm.
time within a week I had this.
Hmm.
Hey Denise, but why would we have dreams like that? You're a medium. I mean,
I I don't know. Like I think the dreams are so personal to the dreamer because well like Crystal was just saying there are things, right, that I think can influence our dreams, and that can be medications, that can be our mental state, that can be, whatever outside influences are going on at the moment. It can be some stuff that we're trying to work through in our mind. Um, so it's really hard to dig into somebody's dreams without kind of doing a session and getting into their head, because I think that they're so specific. Usually, though, like monsters and things like that coming after you, dreams are generally representative of things. And so, um, monsters to me would be certain fears, right? And maybe not even, it's a word I'm looking for. They just represent fears to me, and kind of coming after you. So I don't know, without like really digging in, it's hard for me to be able to tell you what your dream means. I always tell people to break it down into symbolism, break it down into little chunks, because dreams are interesting. Something happens and then something else happens that feels like it, you're in this place and then you're in this place and this place. At least my dreams are like that. So I have to break it down into chunks. And then I have to look at the symbolism kind of in each piece, and then go from there to figure out what it means to me. Some dreams I never figure out. I mean, they're just all over the place, and I don't necessarily worry about them a lot. But that really is the best way, I think, to figure out what a dream means.
Sorry,
I
I
had
missed that. I had to run and get a blanket. I am freezing today.
Are you? I had a dream last night that I was dying. It was very interesting to me because I knew that I was dying. It wasn't scary to me. It was like this calm and this peace. And I knew that I had a week and then I was going to die. And so in my dream, I was going around, I was talking to people that I knew. I was connecting with people, because I knew that I was going to die. It was the strangest dream. And then I woke up. It just doesn't necessarily scare me, because I know that when I break it down into symbolism, death is generally a rebirth, right? It's some old part of me that I'm shedding, that I'm getting rid of, that has to go. And then there will be a rebirth. So I look at it, like that. And I do feel like I know what that symbolizes. So that to me is like the best way. But that's not to say that that dream wasn't unsettling, because I've never dreamt about myself dying before. So it was very interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't understand why I would have monsters in my dreams unless it symbolizes Howard. I'm just joking.
You never know.
I'm just joking. Or like we just discussed a little while ago, sleepwalking. And like Chrissy told me, I came up to a camera and I was like, Howard said I couldn't have nothing to drink until Sunday. Now, why would I do something like that? And I don't even remember. I'm like, I never did that, Chrissy. Yes, you did. I was like, no, I didn't. I mean, I mean, he says I do it all the time, and I just don't remember doing it. So why would I come in and say something like that?
I don't know.
Am I afraid of Howard or something?
I don't
I just
know.
don't
That's so funny. Like, I've only sleepwalked a couple of times in my life that I'm aware of. And I don't honestly know really what causes that or what that's about. It's just got to be a certain place in our sleep cycle, where we are, that causes us to do that.
I wonder if that's the same night I had the nightmare, because I remember waking up one night and having the nightmare, and I said, man, I just had a nightmare. I can't go back to sleep. And they were all on here. I think it was a Friday night. It always happens on a Friday night. Maybe I'm working too hard. Walmart makes me work too hard.
Oh God, I'd have nightmares every night if I worked there. Like, I would. It's just too many people. Bless you for doing it.
I do. I mean, Walmart's ridiculous. I love my job. I love my people. I mean, I love I love what I do, but it's getting crazy.
I had a dream when I
Nursing.
was about 8 years old, and it was very, very vivid, and I haven't forgotten it to this day. It was terrifying. In fact, I woke up in the morning, and I don't tell anybody about this dream. I don't tell anybody the specifics of this dream, because it's still a lot. It's still a lot for me. But I had this dream. I woke up in the morning. I was physically sick, and I was crying, and I told my mother that I had this terrible dream, and she asked me what it was about, and I wouldn't tell her. So anyway, that dream has stuck with me. I stayed home from school for about 3 days because I was physically ill. I asked, because I'm trying to work through this, I actually asked if I could have that dream again. Well, what I did was I asked my guides, if you feel I'm ready, please let me dream that again. I really want to work through this. And I dreamt a very small portion of it the other night, just enough to realize I'm going to have this damn dream again. And I woke up because I couldn't do it. So I don't know. I really would like to have the dream now with the understanding, that I have, because I didn't have that when I was 8. Even though I can vividly see it, I would like to actually have that dream again. But for some reason, I'm not allowing myself, like I wake myself up as soon as I realize, oh, that's the dream I'm going to have. I just can't let myself get there. So I don't know.
So when you have a dream about somebody, like I have dreams about my mom and dad, and they passed away. Does that mean they're close by me when I have dreams of?
Yes, actually, our loved ones do come to us through dreams. They do. That a lot of times is a visit from them. So yeah, pay attention to those. Write them down, because I do believe 100% that spirit comes to us through our dreams. It pays us a visit, gives us a little visit.
And I've only had one dream about a deceased relative, and that was my grandpa. And I've only had it one time. And that was, oh, good gosh, probably 20 years ago. But for a very, very long time, I didn't dream. I know that you are supposed to dream. I guess I should say I don't remember any of the dreams since we are supposed to dream. Just here, probably within the last year, I've actually gotten to where I can remember my dreams, and they are vivid when I actually can remember them. It's like I can remember almost every detail, every smell, every touch, the pain. There's been times that I've actually, probably within the last a couple of months, I've actually woke up crying from the dream, screamed in the middle of the night, and actually woke Steven up because it was so vivid. And I haven't had that in a long, long time. So I'm guessing something in me was triggered, or I don't really know.
Shannon says, I sleepwalk, I talk in my sleep, I have vivid dreams that are definite messages. Nighttime can be weird for me. Now, I used to talk in my sleep. That's wild.
I write in my sleep. I keep a notebook like this in the bed with me and a pen. And when I wake up in the morning, a lot of times it's scribbled all over the place. And it doesn't make sense.
Huh.
And it's very sloppy because I'll write over the top of something because I'm asleep when I write it. But if I can generally just pick out 1 or 2 words or maybe a sketch or something that I drew at night, the dream recall comes back. And I don't do it every night, but I probably do it 3 or 4 times a night. I just keep this notepad under the covers with me with the pen. And I'll write because I get a lot of messages that come to me that way. A lot of, and I'll forget them. I don't know if you guys have ever had a dream and you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to forget that. But you're still like asleep. But in the morning, you've forgotten it. All you remember is that you weren't going to forget. So I
Yeah.
actually started writing in my sleep. It's
Mhm.
crazy. I'll just write. And I don't remember doing it, but I can wake up with a full page. So that's one way that I've learned just to kind of help my dream call.
I know that I've actually
Yeah.
Stephen has told me that I will have full on conversations in my dreams, and I've woke him up many times just talking, just full on conversations. He can't understand every word, but yeah, I mean, just crazy.
Yeah, dreams are fascinating to me. They really are because we're using a part of our brain, a part of our psyche that in our waking moments we don't really tap into. I actually asked a question on my page the other day that if you could have something that could record your dreams, like literally record them, and then you could sit the next day and watch them as a movie, would you do it?
Yeah.
I would
Oh
too.
yeah,
Like I would
I would.
too. I would want to see. And there's actually, surprisingly enough, because then I had to Google it, right? There's actually technology that they are working on to do just that.
Wow.
So if that ever became like readily available, I would want to do it.
Yeah.
For sure.
I really would. I would love
For
to sit
sure.
down. I mean, it might be kind of crazy though, but to sit down and like see the dream in movie form, I think that would be fascinating.
Dreams this morning that wanted to be remembered. I kept trying to understand it while asleep. Just as I woke up, I got the message. I had been dreaming of colors, and they represented the era I've been growing in ability in the last few weeks.
Nice. So, Linda, was it all the colors or was it a color that you feel like was representative to you? I'm just curious. Right, Beth? And so that was my question. I said if you could do this, but the stipulation was that you had to watch every dream. Like
If
you couldn't skip a day. If you had to watch every dream, would you do it? I personally, oh, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on it. I would really like to see them, but on the other hand, if I'm not remembering it in the morning, perhaps there's a reason why I'm not, right?
she said it was all the colors.
Nice.
That's true.
So what does that mean when she was seeing all the colors?
Well, she was talking about auras, right? And so, and we all have an aura, and auras are a lot of times they're represented in colors, and people can physically see them. So I believe she was just saying that she's been kind of learning about that and developing her abilities around that. And so she was dreaming about the colors. And they generally align with like the chakras. So it's probably what she was dreaming about. Right? I know. I know. It's like the dream I was talking about earlier that I can't even make myself dream again at night. Like I would not want to see that one. So I had a dream. Tell me what you guys think about this. I had a dream. It's been about 2 weeks ago now. It was my great grandparents' home, and it was as I remembered it. I was walking around the home and I came up on one side of it and it was overgrown with weeds and a bunch of different things. And I was kicking around through the weeds. And I noticed that there was an addition to this home that I'd never noticed before. However, the addition was this old, like 60s, maybe metal camp trailer that had been stuck onto this house as an addition. And I remember thinking, well, that doesn't fit. And that's weird. I had to literally uncover it. But it was so vivid and it stuck with me. So a couple of days later, I went to visit my parents. And I saw a picture on the wall that triggered that dream. And I said, oh my God, I wanted to tell you guys. Had a dream about great grandparents' house, and I told them about the dream. They both stopped and just looked at me. And my mother said, well, that's how that house was built. They lived in a camp trailer just like that. They built the pad, they put the camp trailer there, they built the walls and the roof. And then as they had the money, they kind of built the house. And then when the house became built enough, they would just continue sliding this camper out, right? And then they slid it out and closed up the house. I had no knowledge of that. This was in the 50s. This is before I was born. And my parents were just blown away. They said, that's how that house was built. Why would you dream that? I don't know. I'm uncovering a lot of stuff about my past through dreams, and they seemingly don't make any sense at the time. But when I research or when I talk to somebody like my parents or my sisters or whatever, I'm putting the pieces together. And so I think that's, to me, that's amazing. And that's super interesting because I don't know a lot about my ancestors. I just don't. So for some reason, I'm learning it through really odd dreams.
Yeah, that is
Well, maybe that's kind of sending you a message too. I mean, kind of what I would get from that dream is that you can always start with a little and continue to build.
Yeah, right. What I found interesting about the dream was that just looking at the home, I couldn't see this camp trailer. I had to literally uncover it. And so it was also sending that message to me about like literally uncovering the past, you know. But that was an amazing story. I didn't know about that home. I didn't know that it took them so long to build it and they had to live in this little camp trailer. I didn't have any knowing of that. So that was pretty cool to have come, you know, through a dream.
That is cool to learn about that. I wish I could learn about my ancestors.
I'm learning about them through dreaming. That's not the first thing. It's been dream after dream after dream for about the last month. That, like I said, seemingly makes no sense, but I write it down and then I talk to somebody about it and I'm finding out that it's truth. It's part of my history.
Yes.
And that's one thing that's always bothered me is that neither one of my parents have talked a lot about our ancestors. I don't know them. So I guess it's just part of my journey. This is how I'm going to learn. And I'm going to just continue to surprise my parents when I say, guess what I dreamt? And the look on their face. I guess that's how I'm going to learn.
Your ancestors are just going to try to fill in the gaps that you've been missing.
Right.
Wow.
So Beth is saying very interesting. I want to tell you something else that happened regarding this that I am still trying to figure out. And maybe one of you ladies will know. Except that this isn't a dream. It's a memory that I have. It's something that I've always known has happened, right? It's just, I don't really know how to explain. It's not a memory that one day I just had and said, oh, I remember that. It's just something I always grew up knowing. Okay. Like I know that I lived in a house my whole entire life, right? It's just been part of my history. And one day I asked my sister, do you remember this? And she said, no. I asked my other sister, no. I asked my dad. Finally, I said, this is driving me crazy. Actually, it was my mother. And she got very quiet on the phone. And she said, you have to talk to your dad about that. Maybe 10 minutes later, the phone rang and it was my dad. And he said, what do you want to know about such and such? And I said, well, this is my memory. Tell me about it. And he was very quiet. And he said, Jen, that cannot be a memory. That happened before you were born. Yes, that did happen. But it was before we even had any kids. We don't talk about this. And I knew they didn't talk about it. I could tell from their tone. But to me, it's a memory. I knew details. I knew all of the things. And so I don't know. God, I don't know. Was that a past life? Did I know my parents before I was born? I don't know. There's something there that I still can't figure out. And with that is coming all the dreams about my ancestors. So I'm kind of in this strange place of learning about where I come from.
Well, I have no answer for that one. That one's awesome though. I mean,
Yep.
I don't even know what to say.
It's weird, and I would tell you guys the story, but it's very strange. There's more to it, and I think if somebody knew the story, they would maybe have the answer or help me to discover the answer. Yeah, Beth, that's possible, because I will tell you what this memory has to do about is a dead person. So yeah, it's very interesting. I very well could have. I haven't, Linda, but I've been talking about it since this memory turned out to be a false memory, turned out to be factual and something that actually happened. However, long before I was born. So I don't know really what to make of that. Yeah, Shannon, she's saying she has had dreams that pertain to what I was working on. Yeah, that's true. I was working on a case that Shannon knew nothing about, and she sent me a message one day and said, "Oh my God, I had the strangest dream," and I was like, "Whoa!" And so I sent her some information. She's like, "Why did I dream about a case you're working on?" I said, "I don't know. I guess so you could tell me about it. We could figure this out." Okay, Reese.
But that came true. It was weird how I worked it out. Ever since then, I've paid more attention to my dreams, but they haven't been on point as much as that one. I think they help prepare us on struggles and fears that we can't handle without any preparation.
Yeah, I do believe that, Reese. I do believe that, like, premonition dreams, they kind of help to prepare us. And I'm so sorry that happened to you, because I know that can be really unsettling, right? We dream it, and then it happens. And when it's something like death, it's really hard. I have had that happen, and then I wondered, like, what could I have done? Like, right? What could I have done? I knew this, and I didn't know why I knew it ahead of time. But I did come to the conclusion that there was nothing that I could have done. It was just to kind of prepare myself.
Some people who do genealogy can also find through their research evidence of family events.
Yeah, I would like to do that.
What's that? Like searching for ancestry?
Genealogy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
genealogy.
it's just basically finding out your family tree. I mean, you can go back generations, find out where you came from. The Akashic records, I have worked with those a little bit.
What's that? Akashic record.
So, Beth, yeah, you remember things that you shouldn't possibly be able to. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. I do that as well. And remembering something that happened before I was born was mind blowing. And especially the detail that I told them was absolutely mind blowing. And to me, it was just this memory. It was just a part of my life. And I was actually really distraught when they told me that didn't happen in my lifetime. Because
happened in another lifetime?
It happened. It just happened before I was born. It happened to my family. It was just before I was born.
Wow.
But I remember being devastated and I remember thinking, well, my God, is my whole entire memory a lie? Like, now I don't know what is truth and what's not. Because that was such a truth and such a part of my life that it really kind of shook my foundation, finding out that can't be a memory in this lifetime. Like I was so pissed at my sisters when I called him. I was like, come on, do you guys remember this? No, Jen, we don't even know what you're talking about. Like,
Yes.
but you have to. Yeah, I don't know, Reese. Somebody else mentioned that to me at one point in time. The story itself is just so bizarre and I think that the story holds some secrets itself, and I may delve into that one day and try to figure that out. So what she's saying, the Akashic Records is an actual building that holds records of every lifetime. It also shows missed opportunities as well as opportunities we did take. Lord Almighty, I don't want to see the missed opportunities. I don't know if I want to see those. I don't know if I want to put myself through that.
So we could go back and look at that?
Yeah, it holds memory of all time. The Akashic Records do. So like it's about past lives. It's about it's basically memory of all time.
Wow. Let's see. It's from Watcher's View. Makes me wonder if I started traveling very young or is it from a past life?
That's okay, Lori. I know what you meant. And she's saying it's like a giant hallway with cubbies. So I did a meditation once in the Akashic Records, and that's exactly what it was like. They had me visualize walking down this hallway, and then which door, which cubby, which way are you drawn, and then to stop there, and then to see what was in there. So that's right. That's exactly how that meditation was. Good night, Jeff.
Good night. Giant hallway with cubbies. That's what you just said.
Yeah. So I had a dream. I'll tell you about another dream that I had. And I had a dream about where I grew up. I grew up on a farm. I grew up on a ranch. It was very, very rural. And we had a creek right next to the house. And across the creek, there was 2 little graves. And they were unmarked. They were just these very small graves. Well, from when I was a child, we were told not to go over there and play by the graves because it was disrespectful. But my brother and I, we would always go through the creek and we'd go over to these graves. I would bring a sandwich and I would have a picnic, right? And I would talk to the graves while my brother was fishing. He would talk with me for a minute, but then he'd get annoyed and he'd go fish. But I would spend hours and hours and hours there. I would always sneak over there and I would want to talk to these 2 girls. I just knew that they were little girls. So after finding out that this other memory that I had wasn't real, I decided I dreamt about those graves the other night. And so my dad came over for coffee and I thought, I got to ask him, because I asked my sister, do you remember those graves? And she said, no. And I thought, shit, here we go again. Like, like this memory. So I asked my dad about the graves. Those graves did exist. They existed when he was a small child. So they're at least probably over like 100 years old. But because my dad is 80, and he said he remembers being a small child and sneaking over there to sit by those graves as well. But in my dream, I was sitting at the graves and I was talking again, except I was an adult this time. And this was just it was this week. So I have this feeling that I'm going to go back there because it is still in the town where I live. I'm going to walk over to that creek and I'm going to sit by those graves. I don't know. I'm feeling very, very called to do that. Dreaming about it and finding out, yes, indeed, that is real. That is a real memory. So I am going to go. I did ask my dad if he remembered. Were they girls? Were they boys? What do you know about them? He knows about as much as I do. They were child-sized graves, and I feel that they were females. So, yes, I'm gonna go out there and talk. see what that dream is telling me, because I feel like it's telling me to go there. And that could be part of this ancestry, part of putting my, my family's history together, because
Yeah.
that is on family property that we've had for years and years and years. So I've got to go back out there. Let's see.
My whole childhood, I had the same recurring dream that would wake me up crying and so overcome by heartache and grief. I know now it was losing my family in the past life in the pioneer days. Even thinking about it now makes my chest tighten. My mom used to have you used to have to calm me down from crying because the emotion was so consuming. I didn't dream it anymore, but it is ex etched in my
Etched.
memory,
Yeah.
etched in my memory, like
Yeah.
it just happened. Wow.
I get that, Shannon. That's that dream that I was talking about that I can't get myself to redream. It's so vivid and it's so clear, and it's like I just dreamt it yesterday.
Wow.
And I was so devastated by it. I understand that, and I do believe that we can dream about our past lives.
Love talking about dreams.
Dreams are fascinating, aren't they? Like, we get a peek into our subconscious. We get a peek into the past. Like, we get a peek into all eternity, honestly.
Oh, I think Crystal left us.
I don't know where she went. I know she wasn't feeling very good.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to look at some of these comments. Scott. Good night, Scott.
Good night. So maybe but like when you have a dream is when you like in my opinion when I work too hard. That's when I have my dreams. Maybe
That's
I'm
when
there
you have
to
your dreams.
yeah. I work real hard at Walmart.
Oh, I bet you do. I bet you do.
I come home stressed out a lot. Hey Matt.
So when we have those really lucid dreams, it's my understanding that we're in the in-between
Right.
state, right? Like, our body is asleep, but our mind is not. We're in that state between sleep and awake. And that's where those vivid dreams happen.
So why would you okay, so sometimes I have a dream and then you're right because you said earlier I won't forget it. I ain't gonna forget this dream. And then sleep and I wake up and I forgot that dream. Why is that? Why
Yeah,
we
I
can't remember?
I do not know. Well, I do. It's just because our brain is in a different, it's just in a, it's using different capacity than in our waking state. So we do tend to forget that, which is why I sleep with a notepad.
Yeah.
And I've just kind of, I guess, trained my brain. If it's something important that I need to remember, like, jot something down. And it might just be one word. But one word can sometimes trigger that. I had a dream. Well, have you ever had those dreams and then later in the day something triggers it and all of a sudden you remember the dream?
It might be a day or two later and I'll
Yeah,
be like, man, I had a dream like that.
right.
You know, or, that already happened to me. So man, it's like deja vu.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can have a dream and it could come true a couple of days later, right?
It could, like, premonition. Are you talking about a premonition? Are you talking about
Maybe, yeah,
literally coming true?
yeah,
That has happened before. I think that most dreams, now there are premonition dreams, but again, a lot of them come in symbolism. You know,
Mhm.
it's like the dream I had about dying last night. I didn't wake up afraid that I was like literally dying. Like, I hope not. I didn't wake up afraid about it because I know that dreams are generally symbolism. But there are premonition dreams, and they can come true, and those to me are very unsettling.
Yeah.
But again, I do feel like that they're there to prepare us for something. They're there to let us know. So premonitions are one thing that is not my favorite, not my favorite thing at all.
I don't like them neither when I sit there and say, "Oh my God, I had a dream about this week. This is weird."
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like them in. Okay. Well, I won't tell you. I won't tell you about that dream. Never mind.
What dream? Come on.
Because it's gonna go political. So we're not gonna do it. But it was an interesting thing. Yeah, I hope Chrissy does get feeling better. And
Yes.
is Crystal good? I know she said she was cold and she got a blanket. Oh, no, she's not feeling well also. So sending them lots of love. Hope they get feeling better soon. Scott, yes, I don't know what medications, but I do feel like there are certain medications that can enhance vivid dreams. Yeah. Well, I guess I do know one. Sleep medications can actually really do that. I also think that some medications that are used to treat mental illness can possibly do that as well. I think anything that maybe alters your brain state could do that. Well, I don't know, maybe even antibiotics could. I really don't know. But yeah, I think anytime we put something into our body, yeah, melatonin, yeah, that changes like the state of our brain or something. I think that could definitely affect our dreams. So you're talking about astral travel, Lori? I have done that. Stephen, I wish I could. I wish I could. Let me just put it this way. I dreamt, I think I was telling Shannon about this. It was so bizarre. I dreamt about somebody being hammered, and I'm going to leave it right there. Because
You mean hammered?
Yes, with a hammer.
Oh no.
Yes. Just going to leave that right there. Because yeah, the next morning that happened.
Really? Oh my God.
It was wild. It was so wild. I do dream political things quite a bit, but I don't go down that hole. I just I dream them and then I kind of write them and move on. Yeah, I did tell you about that, didn't I, Shannon? I was so freaked out the next morning. Oh, I'm sending her my love, Stephen. Okay, so Linda, when I Google researched, wow. So Linda, I feel like that is our deep inner knowing. Honestly, we have a knowing of all things. We really do. If we used we use such a small portion of our brains. But I feel like we have knowledge of all things. Stephen. All I'm going to say is that I had that dream. I didn't know the people, but I just knew that it was happening. And it was insane the next morning when I watched the news. I was like, what is happening? What?
Wow.
So, yeah. So back to Linda, I think that we have this inner knowledge. We all have it. We know of all things. So why you were dreaming about a serial killer that is now, that's lethally dead, I don't know. Maybe you were watching a movie that maybe triggered it, or I'm not really sure. But yeah, I find that super, super interesting.
Yes.
A lot of times when I'm working cases, I will set my intentions. I will set my intentions to please have a dream about something, to please bring me something in a dream. And it might just be a clue, right? I'll wake up and I'll have this clue and I'll know what it is. One time I asked to be shown, and this was one of those very, very vivid things. And I will never forget it because I watched the entire scene play out like a movie
Wow.
from picking this woman up to what happened at the house to where she was taken to how she was killed to how she was disposed of to where the murder weapon was. Like I saw this entire thing and I bolted up out of bed when it was over. And I just started writing like crazy. I drew a map. I did all of the things. That is one that I have never, ever, ever forgotten because it was so vivid and just crazy.
Wow. So you done cases where you had dreams about stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and
That's awesome.
usually I'll set in my intentions, to dream about it. Sometimes not. Sometimes it'll take me off guard. But I don't set my intentions to dream about specific things a lot, simply because I need my rest.
Yeah.
Right? My head is in a million different places all day long. I do sessions. I do, I work cases. I do a lot of things, and so I prefer my nighttime to rest, which is funny because I sleep with a notebook, but so I try not to set my intentions to dream all night because I notice when I do that, I'm not very rested the next day.
You and Shannon has a show, right? On
Yeah.
Wednesday nights. Is that on radio?
That's on Thursday nights, actually.
Thursday. Okay,
It
Thursday
hasn't
night.
started yet. It's actually going to be on a lot of different places. Yes, radio, one of them. And that's some stuff we're going to talk about is like psychology of the paranormal, like a lot of different things. But yeah, we will delve into some dreams and some different things.
Because I've been seeing that ad and I've been
Yeah.
dying to watch it. That's why I was wondering when it's supposed to come on.
Thursday.
Thursday. That's
This
awesome.
Thursday.
This Thursday? So it'll be on Facebook?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So Linda's saying, luckily my dream about the serial killer had no gross details. Wow. Yeah, that is super, super cool, Linda. And he was a real person. Yep, that's that knowledge. I think that's that knowledge that we all have of all things.
Yeah.
I always say I wish that I could tap into that, but maybe I really don't want to tap into all of it. There's probably some things that we're better off not knowing, right?
Yes.
It could be very scary to have that knowledge of all things.
Yes.
Well, it would be a little terrifying. It would be like the premonition stuff we're talking about. Because it is hard to have knowledge. Yes, exactly. Be selective with your intention, Linda. And I've learned that the very, very hard way. Be selective and be detailed about your intention, or you might see something in a dream, or you might know something that you wish you didn't know. Yes, exactly, Linda. I know, Stephen. We still love you. Well, Jackie, it's 6:00.
Oh, okay. That's what I was looking. I was looking for my phone. I was like, where's the time? All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. And we will see you back next week on Hey Boo. Hopefully, Crystal and Chrissy will feel better and they'll be back. So pray for them to get better, especially Chrissy. And we will see you next Sunday. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.